strongly.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, I do agree.
Absolutely.
Some people are not having proper human rights, as we all do. They are lagging behind like from other people who are known as so-called higher class. So due to their lower class, they're not having access to proper educations, proper health care, or other social activities like the people of upper class are doing or get the opportunity to do.
But yes, in general, social economic inequality definitely has a role in elevating poverty, I would say, or increasing the levels in certain communities. Because if there's no equal distribution of resources, that means a certain spectrum of population, they may be benefiting rather than the opportunities could be limited, and it could, especially what we see in societies which are still tribal, societies which are still sticking to maybe old customs and traditions, or where the resources are managed by a relatively smaller number of people. In those societies where we have experienced or what we observed, that there's a higher number of inequality, and then also it means basically indirectly it can lead to poverty, because I would say directly leads to poverty as a result of this unequal distribution of resources.
It is getting better, slightly, slowly but surely it is getting better. There is still like a lot left to do.
In Ethiopia, for me, there seems a very, very big disparity between a few people at the top and a lot of poor people at the bottom. Okay.
I think if we all, on a daily basis, we all gave a little bit more thought to what we were buying and where we were buying it from and how much we were paying for it, then if everybody in the world thought like that, then we would be better off. So, for example, in my country, in the UK, there are shops I can go to where I can buy a t-shirt for £1, about 35 birr. Now, if I'm paying that, then what's the person who made it got paid as a wage? A lot less. A lot less. Whereas if I go and I buy something that has been traded fairly, and maybe I pay a bit more money, but that means whoever made it, whoever grew the cotton to make whoever stitched the work, whoever made the design, they will get paid a decent wage. So I think if we really want to change poverty, everybody needs to think more carefully about what we buy, where we buy it, and how much we pay for it.
As a community, first thing is we need probably to follow government regulations. Okay? If we follow government regulations, then we create a little bit of peace. If people are not following government laws, then there is no peace. And if there is no peace, people cannot even invest in the little things that they have. So it is our responsibility as people, as a community, to follow the laws which have been put, because they will create harmony, they will create security, they will create a good environment for us to invest and bring ourselves from poverty.
Obviously, you're putting a lot of effort towards education, retaining the people that you educate. So that means that you are offering living conditions and salaries that are attractive for the people that you have educated. In different countries where I have been, I have seen young nationals, very intelligent students who cannot wait but go abroad to actually study and work, which I find it's a very difficult situation, because that means that the country doesn't really attract its young people to come back after they finish their studies or to stay. Yeah. So education is a drive, but also like the government needs to make sure that the country is a place that stays attractive for its own citizens, so they stay. When they reach higher levels of education, they stay in the country. Yeah, so it also like involves, I guess, like pride in your country, and it's like something that is very difficult to achieve. Obviously, like in any society, you will have divisions, so like that would be something difficult. Another aspect, further than education, is also how does the country uses their resources. So which resources are available, and how is it like used to actually like develop the economical like capacity of the country, which will in turn offer like higher ranking jobs, therefore like better salaries, and therefore like increase the retention.
Basically, the government investing in education and more employment. If the employment rate is high, as the poverty rate will decrease. Basically, the government has to attract more investors from other countries to open shops or jobs here, so the job opportunity could increase and the employment rate could get higher. And it's also good for the government and on the GDP rate.
Actually, this is my personal view, not as an organization, but UN has many specialized agencies through which it intervenes in a number of development issues, like UNESCO intervene in education. Education in turn contribute to employment, which in turn leads to income. WHO workers or provide access to basic health facilities, UNICEF for child rights, food, nutrition, ILO, disability issues. All those agencies contribute to stabilize income, to eradicate poverty. So organization in different agencies are working towards that, to bring about eradication of poverty, extreme poverty.
So basically, what as WFP, we have a. I won't really say. I will not talk about my organization, but I will talk in general as humanitarian community. There's a lot of effort being made at a global level to reduce poverty. There are some very stiff plans put in place. 2030 agenda to for the world to achieve certain goals. Unfortunately, it's a very stiff hike because a lot of challenges. Even as a food agency, the idea was that the world should be able to overcome the challenges which we were seeing by at least the food needs. The populations in the world should be food secure, but the challenges I mentioned earlier with natural disasters, man-made disasters, etc., climate changes, the task may not be very easy to be achieved. And pandemic now has added into the complexity of business because of pandemic, all the activities came to a standstill. But what the organization do, I believe professional organizations in the humanitarian sector, with the help of donors and also with the help of host governments, they are able to identify sectors where there are needs and potentially react to those needs based on the requirements of that country. And when those needs are overcome, then there is a phase out process.
I think it's everyone's fault because we've all discriminated against people, and we've all unknowingly perhaps exploited the poor, or not, and we've not maybe helped as much as we could.
Lack of good governance, improper tax collection mechanisms, and other facilities leads to enhanced poverty or extreme poverty. So it can't be concluded that it's only the government fault, but all the stakeholders. So the government has to play the major share on this as a government.
Political goals.
First go with lack of education.
Lack of education.
Conflicts definitely number one.
I would say exploitation of the poor.
I would rank lack of education as one.
Income, low income.
I think exploitation of the poor.
That like conflicts would be like, you know, the biggest one.
Unemployment.
And lack of education.
Natural disasters.
Employment.
Conflict.
Lack of education.
Geographical aspects of natural resources.
Natural disaster.
Politics and conflict.
And also exploitation of the poor.
And low living standards.
The third main point is unemployment.
Third could be interlinked with lack of education and political goals.
Low level of living.
To lack of education.
Like low wages.
Exploitation of the poor.
And then like political goals.